I'm reading through the book of Jubilees. Heater's going on. I'm in the part of the country where it's still cold. Going through the book of Jubilees, I had picked up on this thread of perception when I was reading through the book of Enoch. How Enoch described a 364-day calendar, and that there were other days, but Enoch wasn't supposed to concern himself. Something else happened to those days. And so that's why there's the discrepancy of calendars amongst Jewish communities. When the Second Temple was destroyed, the Sadducees and Pharisees came up with a new calendar that wasn't the same as the calendar that the Israelites were following before that. I think the different calendar was kept by the Essenes. I'm not positive. Eventually, I might look that up. I don't know. However, because it's not the focal point here. The focal point is Jubilees confirms what I took from the book of Enoch. As long as humanity was observing the Sabbaths, the feasts, the festivals, the new moons, then the seasons would go according to that observance. Man was given dominion over the earth. The earth includes the spirits of fire, air, water, everything like that. So man expresses dominion, governs these spirits by observing the Sabbaths and the feast days. If you read through the book of Jubilees, a lot of these feasts, what I'm reading, are written on the tablets in heaven and were observed before mankind was even created on earth. Because there is mankind that's been created elsewhere. Seriously, they don't tell us these things. Of course they don't. So, what happens when, say for example, your modern people are observing the Sabbath according to the Gregorian calendar? So Friday night, let's see, what's today's date? Today's the 5th, and it is a Sunday. So if not yesterday, but the day before, around about sundown, Jewish people started observing a Sabbath, they have made unholy an observance with an unclean day by observing it on an unclean day. Every feast, every festival is a profanity right now. So unless we're a part of a community that kept that original calendar, didn't lose it, and you will know them because their seasons are not interrupted. All the rest of the world is having fires and hurricanes and tornadoes, dust storms, earthquakes, but these people somewhere, if they exist, though we were foretold it's going to be like the days of Noah, maybe those tribal people sitting by the water springs wearing the bird masks. Maybe it's not happening to them. That maybe they're the only people. I don't know. But the point is, every observance, every feast is profane in the eyes of God. Unless you're amongst those people who have not forsaken it, who had never forsaken it. I don't know. I would go check out the Ethiopians. They seem to have kept a whole lot. Supposedly the ark is there too. Although elsewhere it is said that it's underneath the Temple Mount. Anyways, the point being that man was given dominion over the earth, and the way he expressed dominion over the seasons, the wind, the rain, the moon, and the stars, was by observing the Sabbaths and the feast. And this is why Yeshua, in English it would be Joshua, said, if you had a mustard grain of faith, you would be able to tell a mountain to move, and it would move. He wasn't being metaphorical. It wasn't symbolic. It wasn't a parable. It was fact. When he was around, they were observing the festivals at the right days and right times. They were just getting a whole bunch of other stuff wrong. So they would have been observing them and keeping them, and not been doing the things wrong that the Jewish people there were doing. And a lot of that, what I've learned is, they've taken the God out of the law. Their beliefs are New Age. The divine is everything in their Kabbalah. They say it's different than the demon. If that were so, they would have their own calendar. They would be in their own land, and we would all be under the new covenant, going to Jerusalem, and everything would be peace and happy there. So that's how we know. And when you read Revelation, and you read through Daniel, and you read through all the other prophecies, there is nothing saying that Israel as a nation is going to be restored. What it says is that they will become like a nation overnight, and then they will build this third temple. A profane sacrifice will be made. They're not observing the ancient calendar. They cannot make a non-profane sacrifice. If they're observing the Sabbath on the Gregorian, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, it's a profane sacrifice. That's it, period, point blank. And that's why it says it will be destroyed. Run, there's a flood coming. He may not be flooding the whole earth again, but he's going to flood Jerusalem. And he says he will take that mountain back in Jubilees, and he will cleanse it from all the profanity that is happening on it. And New Jerusalem is going to come from heaven. Ain't no human being building this temple. Ain't no human being building the city. God and the angels, they're doing it. Point blank. And in Jubilees, what I'm learning, it says very, very clearly that Abraham and his descendants are the ones that are in charge, are given charge to keep the Torah. And it's only till the new covenant. What people don't understand is, when the word forever doesn't mean without end. written in cement and never to change. It means for the foreseeable future until it changes. So forever, for Abraham, the promise about his descendants forever was up until they stopped observing the Torah. Forever ended. That's it. That's what forever means. It's like the next horizon. Those who can foresee into the future, they foresee a horizon. This is a safe place. This is where everything comes. This is, what you aim for. Now, what happens from there, they don't know. But from where you're looking to the point of peace or the end of it, that is forever. From where you're looking till as far as you can see, till the foreseeable future. So now you understand forever. Now you understand that any festivals, any Sabbaths kept according to the Gregorian calendar are profane and unacceptable. And I just learned today that some of the Jewish people, as part of the circumcision ritual, suck the blood away. It says very clearly in Jubilees, any spilled blood should be covered up, should be buried, should be disposed of. Any dead body should be disposed of, buried, covered up. We are so far off. And until an angelic messenger comes and says, this is the day, get yourselves ready, everything's profane. Any festival, anything by date, by time, it's profane. It's just not valid. Something else was, I was being reminded of something else, and it went neurodivergent mind. It happens. It comes back. Oh yeah, so like even the first fruits and stuff like that from plantings and crops and trees. You don't go out, plant you a tree, like a raspberry bush. It starts producing fruit and then offer the first ripe ones as a sacrifice and start eating. No, that stuff is supposed to grow for the whole. I could run and get my notes, but because we can't observe it, I don't need to concisely. You can read the Book of Jubilees, man. You go find that. So like so many years it's supposed to rest, and then I think it's like the 4th or 5th year the first fruits are an offering to God, and then what's left over goes to the servants of the house of God. So whether it be a tabernacle or a temple, that's the priests and those who serve in the house of God. And then the year after that, it is to be distributed with justice. It's supposed to be distributed justly. Not, I'm planting my... No, it's go forth, you people, create a community, all plant together, and it belongs to the whole community. They were supposed to live in communes, man. They was the original hippies. But, like I said, until an angelic messenger comes and says, get yourself ready, start your planting now, because in 7 years, you're going to be able to start offering sacrifices again. Like, yeah, all in God's time. That's it. That's all she wrote. or he or they, through the ages. Not that kind of they. But yeah, how fascinating, because they're like, oh no hide laws, no hide laws. There was one law, even before man, that was amended for man to have dominion, was amended again for Noah, was added to again for Abraham, and then we have the new law. That will start when the new world is put in order. It's established. Very simple. But it's valuable for me to be reading this and learning this, because otherwise I'm having all kinds of anxiety over, being blown this way and that, because this one teaches this and this one teaches that and all of that. All I know is none of them. None of the religious organizations, none of the so-called churches, which, by the way, in case you hadn't learned before in previous videos, the word for church translated to church means circus. It is not translated from ecclesias, which means set apart ones. But you don't know until you put the work into it. I put the work into it. So at least you can be inspired to go check for yourself. So be it. And so it is.